Hey, what's up? BDF44 here. Getting straight to the point. Drew Holiday signed a 4-year deal with extension with the Milwaukee Bucks for 160 million bucks. No pun intended, of course. And my initial first thought was, this is actually not that bad, given who the Bucks are, okay, and what their circumstances are, particularly. For what their circumstances are, I think this is a good signing. Now, if this were another team with different set of circumstances, different opinion. It's not as much about the contract or even the player. I'm looking at it solely from the point of the franchise, their point of view. The Milwaukee Bucks have just gotten Giannis to sign his 5-year extension. I think it was 5 years. I'm pretty sure it is. They had Middleton sign his extension, I think, a year ago or something like that. So they got him on for multiple years. They traded for Drew Holiday, and the concern was just having him stay. So they got him on board. So they have their three-headed monster trio for the next several years. Now, is that trio good enough to win a championship as currently constructed? No. In today's NBA, that trio is not a good enough. Can the Bucks do any better than that? I don't think so. And that's why I think it's a good signing. Like, for example, if the Celtics were to do a signing like this, wouldn't love it. If a team like the Clippers were to try to do something like this, wouldn't love that. Because you have either more prestigious franchises that are going to attract more free agent options, or winning situations that are going to make it so that guys want to be there with you in terms of their history. I'm thinking about the Celtics. You got history, and people dream of being on the Celtics, being part of that organization, that kind of thing. So them signing a guy like Drew Holiday to 160, they can do better. You see what I'm saying? They could probably wait it out and find another guy to pay that. But the Bucks, I don't think that. The Bucks had the most miraculous thing happen to them. Giannis stayed. So the most important thing to do after Giannis stays is to make it so that he doesn't regret it. Whatever he asked for, you do. My understanding is that Drew Holiday was on his list of players that he wanted to play with. They went and got him, and they paid him. Giannis asked for that. Giannis got it. Good decision on the Bucks' part. Give Giannis whatever he wants. That's the moral of the story. Give him whatever he wants. Because this is a situation where he's on with you guys. He says, this is my franchise. This is what I'm dedicating myself to over the next 5 years. And this is what it's going to take to keep me. They have done everything it took to keep him. So I don't see any downside whatsoever. No downside whatsoever. None. Like, this is a good signing. First of all, Drew Holiday is worth every coin of that money, in my opinion. That's a decent contract for the player he is. He's probably the most underrated two-way player of his generation. That's what I think. I could be wrong. I'm sure there are many, many, many guys in the generation that would fit the bill of being underrated. But I don't think any of them are as good on both sides of the floor as Drew Holiday is. Not the underrated names, no. He's the best one of those that I can think of. He's elite defensively and he's elite offensively. And he's a stand-up guy. You understand what I'm saying? This is somebody, and I've mentioned this on my videos before, but this is somebody who stepped away to care for his wife during a very, very serious health scare and pregnancy that she was so strong in dealing with at the exact same time. And she is still alive, still thriving, and a lot of the respect that I have for Drew Holiday was wrapped up in my understanding about how he took time off to take care of what mattered most. Came back to the game and picked up right where he left off, being excellent. So when you're talking about who you're investing $160 million in, you're definitely investing in somebody that you want representing your franchise. That's the first thing. On the court, he gets it done. Off the court, he represents you well. So those are two major check boxes that he checks off very, very, very cleanly. And of course, the third box is the most important, which is, does Giannis want him? And the answer is yes. So I think the Bucks did the best they could do. You know, if I'm weighing them by somebody else's standards, I'm not seeing it this way necessarily. Um, but because they have the Bucks market, Milwaukee market, where it's hard to get guys to come there, because they are capped up out the sky in terms of Middleton and Giannis eating up the most of the cap. They needed a facilitator, somebody who could play defense, somebody who could score the ball and give you another option to Giannis and Middleton's offensive play and defensive play, who could match their intensity on the defensive end, because both of them are also very, very, very solid defensive players, to say the least. They got another two-way guy that fits right in, doesn't play the same position as them because they're both forwards, is a score-first guy who can pass just in case Giannis needs that extra scoring push. He can do that. Defender, he can do that. If you need somebody to orchestrate and facilitate, Jrue Holiday can very much do that. So there's not anything that Jrue Holiday is going to be asked to do that he cannot do. So as far as I'm concerned, hey, I could think of a lot of other guys who made more than $160 million that can't do everything that Jrue does, and won't have the type of character that he has. So I've heard people say, yo, this could turn out to be a bad contract. As bad as any contract if somebody gets hurt. You know, anybody's contract is. Look, Anthony Davis' contract is bad if he stays hurt for 5 years. LeBron James's contract is bad if he gets hurt every year. You know, there is no such thing as a good contract to a hurt player. But for a guy that you're paying to do the things that you want him to do, I think Jrue Holiday's value is solid. I do. Would you have liked to get him for less? Sure you would. Do you understand why you didn't? Absolutely. You're the Bucks, man. You know, you're not the Lakers. That's going to cost you. I keep telling people that's what it is. But they do have a winning situation. They can get lucky and win the East one year. I think they can get lucky. This may be the year they get lucky. If KD doesn't come back healthy, James Harden's already starting to have knick-knack injuries. The Heat have a bunch of new players, and they have to find cohesiveness. The Celtics aren't very good this year. The Philadelphia 76ers are going through some of the similar stuff with COVID, keeping players out and injuries, keeping players out at weird, different times of the season. They haven't had their full team. The Milwaukee Bucks have as good a chance of overachieving this year as they've had at any point in the past 3 years. And even though I don't have them coming out of the East, I don't think I would be overly surprised if they did, especially with the acquisition and the settling in of Jrue Holiday. Because, see, it's not just about the acquisition of these guys. It's about not having to worry about losing them at the end of the season. That allows the organization and their front office to relax. It allows the players themselves to relax and know that what they're doing this year, they're simply building for next year and even building for the following year. That is very, very important in terms of getting the most out of guys, knowing that what they're learning and the practices that they're going through and the things that the chemistry and the gelling that they're trying to develop isn't lost from season to season. When you know that you got the same guys coming back next year, all that effort feels like it's worth it. Even the losses feel like, well, we coming back next year, we're going to be that much better because we have the cohesiveness and the experience of going through what we went through this year. Not enough of that is done in the NBA. The Bucks are going to have that for the next several years, and I think that'll work in their favor. I really do. So, yeah, that's what I got to say, man. And congratulations to the Bucks. I know a lot of pundits and people are going to be like, yo, they got their caps wrapped up into players that don't deserve that kind of money. They're never going to win a championship, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I don't care. If I'm the Bucks and I'm a Bucks fan, I don't give a shit. Excuse my language. All I really care about is making sure that Giannis is happy here. Because we're in the Giannis era. And whatever he needs, it's our responsibility to make sure he has. You owe him that much for staying with y'all. I don't think many would have. So that's what I got to say, man. You go as Giannis goes, and that should be what you want. My name is BDF44. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out.